Hello, welcome to PlayStation Access. My name's Rob, and welcome back to the Tuesday Checklist, the weekly feature where we talk about games for ages and then make Dan edit it down to a palatable length. This week, Yakuza 6 The Song of Life has come out, a brilliant game where you partake in activities that might sit on the wrong side of the law. This got us thinking, what are some of the worst in-game crimes we've ever committed? Nath is first, with a wholesome story from Christmas past.
So a game that enticed me into a life of crime. Many games have done this, but I think probably my most memorable, my most fun was the one that we all played together, Dave and Rob, when we were doing, the first time I ever played Skyrim, when we were doing the challenges for Nathan the Christmas Elf.
The challenge is 10.
The challenge is 10, which included a task 3 towards the end. Definitely the best crime that you made me do was...
Basically, the crime's 10, wasn't it?
The crime's 10. The best.
It was that one where he just had to walk across the map.
That was a great
That was
Yeah, but I failed that. I was definitely...
That was a crime against orienteering.
That was... do you know what's a crime against orienteering? The road signage in wherever Skyrim is. It's called Skyrim, isn't it?
Council, man.
Right, I will. If I ever play the game again, I will. My favourite one was, Rob set me like an ingenious kind of anti-Christmas challenge where I had to go in...
Which Rob said that?
Where I had to go into a shop, steal everything, and then just leave it outside, like a present for them outside. And so I went into, who's the lady with the cauldron? She's got like is it an alchemist shop, or is it Linda or someone? I don't know.
I can't remember her name, I'm really annoyed at myself.
What I can remember is that for some reason in this challenge,
Cauldron?
yes, and for some reason, I was completely naked apart from a rag, and I was I was hunched over.
When games imitate life.
What about your character?
So Nathan the Christmas Elf, who we'd made look, he's kind of like, and the noise, we kept on just stopping and going, because that was like the noise that his face suggested was just like, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and look down and see this like, just taking all your stuff. And we were just walking incredibly slowly. And we all started whispering, and we realised, like in real life, and we all started realising that might cause problems with the microphones. So we were doing like loud whispers, and for a moment I sat next to the fire just to rub it in a little bit. You guys suggested that I just rub it in, and it was quite Christmassy. So I stayed there for a little bit. And then we were worried about, like, because when I stood up, I would not be in stealth for a second. And then I was like, taking all of the bowls and putting them into my invisible pockets, and everything was going well. I think I did one shop, and I managed to deposit everything outside. It went really well. Put everything down, and there was one egg, and the shop front was like, we didn't want to get caught with any of the stolen goods outside by any of the guards, and this egg just started rolling down the pavement towards where all these guards were. And I tried to kick it back into the pile, but I couldn't pick up the egg to bring it back, because then as soon as I picked up the egg, it must have been alarmed, obviously, because like the guard would have known immediately. And how I got caught was, I can't remember who it was, but obviously the next tier of shoplifting was to go upstairs and shoplift the shopkeep as they pickpocket as they slept. Yeah. So again, everything's going fine. There's a tiny moment where I stand up to get some bowls off the top of a wardrobe, and me and Rob are the only ones who hear it. There's like a little noise from upstairs, just someone going, so we hunker down for a few seconds, and then went upstairs, sleeping body, and there's like a strong box. So we take the money from the strong box, and then walk over to the body and take the gold, in like the little percentage chances of how successful the pickpocket's going to be, 76%, just take all the gold out of the pocket, and then there's a key, and we decide that it would be fun to take the key so that we can come back and, you know, have Christmas any night of the year in the shop. But taking the key is what, instantly she wakes up. and I'm detected, and I jumped down, like the Skyrim houses with the fire pit in the middle, and like the balcony door. I jumped down, and there's a guard just in the shop, just going, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you here?" And I had to say that I was a Thane, and I got let off, which is
use the old.
Yeah, don't you know?
Really important.
Yeah.
Naked elf in the middle of a shop in the middle of I'm the thing.
Exactly. This is my Thane egg. Like these are all my important things.
Does she know you're the Thane?
So
she doesn't know I'm here.
No, she's asleep.
It's okay. I'm the thing. Go back to sleep.
So I think that
Oh
was
my God.
that was my favourite of all the crimes, and I've only ever played Skyrim as a crimer. It's all I've done is like a crime guy, murdering
Being a criminal.
Yes. Murdering. I think you made me murder. One of the first challenges was murdering people in their sleep.
It's a rite of passage for Skyrim.
So there was a particular game, it was actually one of the first games I ever live streamed, and the game gives you a choice. You can potentially play it like a criminal, but you can also play it without killing anyone, and it is Dishonored.
Oh, good one.
Now, I was adamant, it's my first time playing Dishonored. I was a bit late to Dishonored Party, and Dishonored 2 was on the way out, so I was like, okay, let's get Dishonored in. And I quite like some of their stuff, so this could be good. And I was like, I'm gonna try really hard to do the full stealth, really clever gameplay, exactly what the studio intended. And with Dishonored, the original, it's not quite like 2, it didn't want it to be, but it is quite cut and dry. You're either good or you're bad.
Right.
The game lets you know if you've screwed up. So it's like the first sort of time you see guards, and I go into cover, and then like I just came out of cover, and I was like, oh great, everyone's seen me. And now everyone's shooting me, so I just started killing them. And I kept on killing, and I kept on killing,
Wow.
and I kept on killing.
Okay.
And I think I actually killed everybody in the game. Everybody.
Excellent.
I don't think I used any of the stealth mechanics. I don't think I used any of the stealth powers that the game gave me. I think I just spent all my money on bullets.
I've heard the game is actually more fun and creative that way.
I mean, it wasn't what I was, I wouldn't call what I was doing creative. It was literally just like,
Destructive.
go, go, go. Like, I just ran in, it was like, cool, kill him.
You weren't even like
No.
creeping up on people and then killing them.
No.
You were just like.
Yeah, open
in
the
you were
door,
just, like, in the
hey
front
yeah!
door.
And then
Sorry
just
to
started
interrupt
killing
your
people.
party.
Yeah.
The assassin Corvo maybe.
Hey!
I mean, he's not an assassin at this point. Like, he's
Just a killer.
just a killer.
Yeah.
Like, Corvo is doing no assassination.
Yeah.
My chat have basically got a death count every time I kill someone. It's on like 300. I'm sure I've tried to get the number for it. I think it was in like the 300s by the time I finished the game. That's how many people I killed.
Wow.
It was actually gross, and I think I insulted the development team. I played it so poorly, I actually insulted the development team behind Dishonored, and I'm really
You finished it.
Yeah, but like by the time I finished it, the plague is everywhere.
I was gonna
The
say.
city's covered in rats. No one's my friend. I can do like only certain side quests because obviously no one wants to talk to me. I'm just a murderer.
Yeah.
I've only leveled up things that help me kill better. None of the powers have been leveled up because there's no point not using them. Don't need it. Stealth, what's that? Just, come on, I'll just kill him. It's fine. It'll be fine. As long as I've got enough potions or enough health boosters, it doesn't really matter what I want to do, does it?
Wow.
On the flip side, Dishonored 2, I accidentally killed 2 people and then did the entire thing in stealth, pretty much.
What? Oh, how did you manage to do so well in Dishonored 2?
A lot of restarting the chapters.
See, this is making me think. This is why I'm thinking that this Dishonored story was a choice. You know, you're like, oh, I tried, but you didn't try.
Killing is one of those things that gets easier the more you do it.
Oh yeah, I felt nothing by the end.
It's a Solid Snake quote, man.
Is it? Yeah, I know.
Just gotta get, it's like, does it come out in like violent bursts? Like Metal Gear!
Start!
Boxes!
I'll go.
Kojima!
Where's the tally?
Where's the tally? That's why we can't have nice things. But yeah, so I murdered everyone.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I thought at least you would. Nathan probably tell me off, but everyone's dead and it doesn't matter because everyone's fine in Dishonored 2.
Right, my crime, like everyone. Actually, there's quite a lot of crime in
What's
games,
my
isn't there?
crime?
What's my crime? But the one I'm particularly thinking of, a favourite of mine, was an exploit of Oblivion. The Elder
so-
Scrolls.
This is a crime against the game.
No, it was a crime within the game. So,
Right.
within the game, there is a system of law which I broke.
You have violated the law.
I did violate the law. I think they fixed this. I don't. This is so. Me and my friend played Oblivion together. I think it was probably his copy to begin with, and I used to just watch him play. And he found an excellent exploit which we used to do crimes and largely get away with it. So the crime was that we wanted to steal things. There was lovely shops. You would find some lovely shops and they were full of amazing armour. You go in those shops and they even have the glass case and there's like a sword in there and it's glowing and you're like, oh, and you look at it and it tells you the name and it's like someone's sword and you're like, oh, I bet that is a good sword.
Sword of awesomeness.
Yes, and it's in a glass case and you really want it. And you're looking around this shop and there's just loads of things in there and they are all so expensive, and that money is, you probably can get that money if you're kind of smart, but we weren't smart, or if you play the game for a long time. But we were trying to, as I guess a lot of crimes, we were trying to take the shortcut. And I don't know how he had this idea, or maybe he even read about it, but there was an exploit that we figured out, and it was this. You would go into the shop, with all its lovely things, you would just steal everything. And the shopkeeper was very angry about this. Now the trick was, you couldn't necessarily do lots at once, but you would go for just the things you wanted. You would immediately pick them up and you would commit the crime of stealing. You would then very quickly go into your inventory and drop everything that you had stolen onto the floor. At which point a guard would come, or the shopkeeper, I think it was a guard, would come and they would be like, you've been stealing, you've been really bad. And you were like, oh yeah, I'm really sorry. I accept. I don't think you could pay a fine. I think you had to go to prison, so you'd go to prison. You would come out of prison and you'd go back to the shop, and on the floor would be all the things you'd stolen, but they were no longer belong to the shop. Now they were just things and you could have them. And we did this so many times. Just walking around, just no right to be walking around in this amazing armour and like swords and things. And the shopkeepers, I used to love it. I love the idea of the shopkeeper being there, being like, oh, mate, you left all your stuff here. By the way, when we had that thief come in, you left all your stuff here. It's really strange. Really nice stuff as well. I would buy that. I would sell that. In fact, I think I did used to sell that, but it's clearly yours now.
The idea I like better is that it's just a loophole in the law in Oblivion.
Then that's the law.
Like, the shopkeepers are like, God damn it!
I can't believe it. They dropped everything again.
That means he's not stealing them. I can't get the guards in.
Yeah, and the shopkeepers go to put it back on the shelf, and the guard turns up. What are you doing? That's not yours. That belongs to the man in jail.
It belongs to the floor.
That's right.
It does not belong to you.
Does not belong to you. You're going to jail. Then it's a race about who can get out of jail first, the shopkeeper or the thief. Then they can get all their stuff back. And yeah, that's like, I like that. I really like that because it was like a silly little loophole that we exploited, and it wasn't just breaking the law. It was breaking the law in the game, but in a brilliant way that I admire about ourselves.
The game gave you the ability. The game
Exactly. We're just using the tools that were given to us, Holly.
So, crime.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is the one I've been most anticipating.
Now, obviously, there's the one crime I did, the famous one, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, that you might know about, which is the pink taxi of death in Grand Theft Auto, which
This changed how I look at you,
and
I mean this forever.
I thought it was fine. I remember when the
fine.
email first went round, I think it was when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and we were working at Future Publishing, and they sent an email out, has anyone got any ideas of fun ways you used to play Grand Theft Auto, creative ways that we could use in articles and videos and things? And I just replied with what I did. Oh, that was fun, wasn't it? Oh. And just the looks, and everyone was like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You have serious, it's like
terrifying.
Like, that's terrifying. And I thought, I didn't think anything of it when I was doing it. But anyway, I used to get a taxi and murder people, and I've talked about it many times on the channel, so I'm not going to go into it again. But it was good fun. But the game I am going to talk about, and you'll be happy to know it's a game that we are not going to be able to capture and
Well
this will
done.
be impossible to recreate.
Okay,
God.
so are you going to do a series of
Like,
drawings?
yeah, I might do some drawings of it.
God.
I remember this so fondly though, and it's not a type of game I would usually play. It's a TOCA, World Touring Cars, or TOCA, World Touring Cars. I don't know how you pronounce
Well,
that.
someone in the comments will tell you.
I remember TOCA or TOCA.
TOCA World Touring Cars on PlayStation 1
Yeah.
was a brilliant racing game by Codemasters, like the racing game masters.
And the Codemasters.
And the
Codemasters.
Codemasters. And it was a superb game, and I got really, really into it. The handling was brilliant. My favourite thing about it was that your car took damage in real time. So, like, your gearbox might break, and your steering might break, and that would affect your car and how you could control it. If your gearbox broke, and you were in second gear when it broke, you couldn't go above second gear.
That's cool.
And you had to pit, and your car would be fixed in the pit stop, and the amount of time you were in the pit stop depended on how broken your car was.
Yeah.
So if your car was completely wrecked, you'd be in the pit stop for ages, and you could, lose the race.
Yeah.
I quickly learned that the most effective way to win races was to have my sister play with me. And as soon as the race started, she would instantly turn around and drive the wrong way around the track.
Right.
Because the game didn't penalise you for doing that. You
Yeah.
get games like, oh, I'll put you back on the track.
Yeah.
You've gone off the track there. Well, you should be facing that way. TOCA didn't do that. I was like, yeah, go for it. So I'd be there racing along, and maybe my rival would be out in front. I'd be like to my sister, you need to take him down. Gotta take him down. And she'd arrive, and you could see, I'd know where she was because you could see her arrow on the mini map.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, he's coming around this corner now. He's in the middle of the road. And she would be there, just smash into this car, like wipe him out to the point where if it didn't stop him, he would have to pit.
Right.
And I would just win so many races.
This is
And
amazing.
the amazing
Wow.
thing is you could name your driver, and it put your name on the windscreen. And for some reason, my sister called herself the Jellyfish because she went around stinging the other cars.
Oh, nice.
She was
That
like
is
The
the
stinger.
assassin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like the Jellyfish assassin.
Yeah.
And we had this whole game we used to play, and it got to a point where she destroyed and mucked up so many of the cars on the track that there were loads of cars all in the pit stop at once. And then we would each go to opposite ends of the pit stop and block them off and just have loads of fun, just like trying to keep cars in the pits.
Then you're not even
Hemming
racing
them.
anymore.
No, I mean it's
The
got.
race director's going,
Yeah.
no one's going to win. This is mad.
By this point,
This never happened.
I'm like maybe 2 or 3 laps ahead of everyone else.
Right.
So we just decided to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing fun.
Yeah.
The fun we used to have.
There's a lot of talk these days about how they could make F1 more exciting, and I think that you've got the answer.
I think this could be it.
Imagine Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas at the start of the race.
That's the new Mercedes
They
taxi.
toss a coin.
Right, Valtteri, we're going to need you to go the wrong way around the
Yeah.
track, please.
One weekend it's like qualifying, and like Bottas is he's last. I don't know how he's done this. He's ended up last, and he looks at Hamilton, does a little wink, and then they're like, "Go!" And they don't have reverse, but he spins it round. Hamilton's on the radio. They're all on the radio. Vettel's in the middle of the track.
But that would be bad. There'd
would
be
be
a bad crash.
He'll be bad.
But they're going
But
so
it'd be
So
good.
hilarious. No, I like the blocking in the pit thing. Just
That's a classic.
Vettel's pitted, Bottas block him in the pit,
Yeah.
and you could just go along to the pit, block it off.
Yeah.
And then your teammate just takes
Just
victory.
all you need is to keep Vettel in there for maybe just 10 seconds, and then
Yeah.
that's enough.
That's right.
That's enough of a window to win the race.
Or they could put in like video game style obstacles and things like swinging barrels. You know, like, you've got to get out of the pit, but there's a swinging barrel on fire.
This entry
Oil
is
slick, oil
Oil
slick.
slick.
This
yeah,
entry has
exactly.
changed, hasn't it? Into what I used to do with how we could improve Formula One.
Just some ideas. So, yeah.
I think we should probably write to them.
Yeah.
I think these are really solid.
they're probably
Dear
watching.
FIA,
Yeah.
I
some
think-
ideas.
We
What
can
I
even
done.
send them drawings, diagrams.
Yeah, we're
That'd
going to
help
need drawings for
illustrate.
Yeah.
this video.
Yeah,
so
we need drawings anyway because
we'll use those.
so we can't capture it. We might see some general footage of TOCA being played on PS1.
Pro-
Yeah. Or TOCA.
Yeah, TOCA. But it won't be the hilarious stuff that we used to do, because I don't know where my copy of the game is anymore.
you can all use your
sadly.
imaginations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can see a sleeping body in Skyrim and not want to just kill it, knife
Wow.
out, just oh.
That's one for you and your therapist, man.
It's true, that's why they're there, to be there's nothing wrong with me. Let us know in the comments what your very worst in-game crimes are. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and join us again next week for another Tuesday checklist.